Hello and welcome back to Warfighter War. We are playing through another mission with the British Army, going against the Germans again. So this time I took a mission with a rather larger mission, 150 resource points. And our objective is 5 locations away, or on the 5th location spot. So I'll describe what we'll be facing here. So the mission is an offensive, so this is fairly large attack. First we'll come across a highway that we can use to travel along. Will require experience to activate, and there's an engineer objective of regain 2, but you never know. We might not need it, depending how things go. Come across a small village, something that we've seen before. Requires another experience to activate, but at least we'll probably have some after defeating some enemies. Has another engineering objective, and it has 2 infrastructure, so if we can try to keep it intact, we'll get some extra supplies. But then we'll come across an impassable river, which we haven't seen yet before. So this pretty much requires us to bring along a engineering company or group, because otherwise we cannot pass it. We'll have to get, it's an engineering objective or obstacle of 4 for us just to even get into there. So that might slow us up a little bit, but we'll have to see. And then after we get through there, we find the port that we're attacking. So this is probably shortly after landing in Normandy, and we're going after a sizable port of some sort. Maybe it's even Calais or something. Will be interesting because it actually has reinforcements. So we'll have to see. Even after we activate it, the more opponents might show up. So we'll have to see how that goes. It's a fairly high entrance cost, but we can hopefully deal with that. So since this is a fairly large force that we're sending, I was finally able to take an armor army. So I decided to take the 5th Guards Armor Brigade. One of the more expensive ones at 55 points, but hopefully it'll be pretty good. It has a lot of firepower and pretty good cover, essentially an armor rating of 8, so anything other with lower penetration we can be fairly comfortable facing. And I did want to put some attachments on, so I actually had to give it the skill, the command structure skill. Just so, because it's normally a command of 12, and I wanted to put enough that I need to go above that. So now I actually have a command of 22. The first thing I wanted to attach is the reaction force for armor. So this, once each turn, discard a total of 2 pins from any armor armies. Now this is the only armor army that I'm taking, but it should prove useful because the big danger for the armor, to actually get pins on it, and with enough pins even smaller infantry can be a threat. So I really want to try to minimize the number of pins this suffers. And then of course I attached the engineer battalion. This is the larger form of the engineering company, and so it works much the same, except the rolls are a lot better. It's pretty much automatic that I'll get at least 1 engineering point. And then I can, if I roll really well, I'll get up to 3. So that's going to be my main offensive force, I believe. But then I'm also bringing another player army, the 11th Division Artillery Group of the Royal Artillery. And so this is artillery army. I think it's pretty standard. I don't think I've used it before, but I might have in some of my other games that I've played. It has a lot of supplies, but it also has to supply, it has to spend a supply to attack and to move. And so partly what you notice is that all of my forces are in some way mechanized. I have the tank, and I also have a couple mechanized armies, and I believe this also is kind of, you can consider a mechanized artillery. It might have priests or some other self-propelled artillery, because it has a movement of 3, so it can actually progress fairly well on its own. It just requires a lot of supply, so hopefully we won't have any issues with that. It does have 2 actions, so it can always attack and then use an action to resupply. But since we're going to need experience to activate some of these locations, I gave it the experience skill. So it starts with 4 experience, so that'll hopefully help us. And then, okay, so I wanted to bring along a scout. So there's the Royal Dragoons, which are kind of interesting because it only has 1 hit point, essentially, just 1 manpower. So if it gets damaged, then that's going to be it. But it has some interesting abilities that I hope to use. It has the Scout ability, and Scout 2, so whenever it moves into a new location, it can either add or remove pins, so it can add or remove up to 2. Now I'm not sure if I can split it, like remove 1 and add 1, but I'm not sure. We'll have to see how it goes. And also it can pay a supply to subtract 2 from a location's entrance cost within range of 2 for the rest of the turn. Now, all of my armies have at least a movement of 3, so it's not going to be much of an issue until the port. So if I can keep them alive until we get to the port, they can help get people moving in. So hopefully that'll save us some action cards. And so my last army is a mechanized infantry group. So the 32nd Guards Infantry Brigade. So again, I said I wanted to try to make a fully mechanized army, but this is kind of a standard infantry group. It has the redirect ability, so it can spend a supply to try to protect something else in the same location. So hopefully, and that'll probably be either the artillery or the dragoons. I might keep it with the dragoons just because those are a bit more vulnerable than the artillery. But it also regains a supply when you perform a move action. So okay, so it'll be able to rebuild the supplies. And so I'm not taking much, I'm not taking any like supply trucks or whatever, so we might have a bit of a supply issue, but we'll have to see. Okay, and so we can get going here. I'll have to draw the cards for my player armies. The tank army or the armor army gets 4 and 4 for the artillery, so not as big as some, but still quite usable, especially since we probably won't need to discard many. So let's see what we have here. Flank attack, infantry attack, support attack, army move. Okay, so the infantry attack is pretty much useless because I do not have an infantry army. Even though I have the 32nd Guards, they don't count as infantry. So might have to discard that. Okay, mechanized attack. We can do artillery attack, and another infantry attack. Okay, so pretty much standard cards. Some extra attacks that we can hopefully use. And so let's get started. Okay, and I should also I wanted to bring along some of these attachments because my previous playthroughs, I've been playing the attachments wrong. I always thought that they activated the same time their army does that they're attached to, but they actually have separate activations. It's just that they go in the same phase that their army does. So I believe all of my armies are normal, so they won't be going first or last. So I think I'll actually start with the Royal Dragoons, so they can spend an action to activate the highway. I'll spend 2 experience for the cost from the artillery. So now we've activated that, and we have to draw for our hostiles. Now we have 150 points, so that means we draw up to 6 experience points of hostiles. Okay, supply convoy. Place 2 beyond the frontmost, so it's back here. Ooh, artillery battalion. They're back here as well in the village. So that is 4 points so far. Okay. So we need to get a 1 or 2. Okay, an armor force, but I don't think we'll use that. Oh, a Stuka. So that's 1. So we still have 1 more point to fill up. So not the Wagner artillery. Ooh, infantry. Just need a 1. 4. Oops, looks like I bent that. Okay, and engineers. All right. Place 1 beyond frontmost. Okay, permanently. Okay, so we actually haven't come across too much enemy troops. We found a supply convoy, engineers, an artillery battalion, and some Stukas spotted us and are coming in. We really want to try to get rid of that engineers. So I'm still on the activation of my Royal Dragoons, so we will have them do a move action so they can move in. There's 3. Unfortunately, they won't be able to attack, but maybe my artillery will be able to go. Okay, so yeah, I should get these set up. Now, I guess the artillery is interesting because it's going first, so we've actually skipped their activation, so they won't activate this turn. They have 2 actions, and they have 2 supplies, which they can use to attack an additional time. So yeah, they won't attack, but they're going to be a problem. Now the engineers and the convoy do not activate, so really the only other activation this turn will be the Stuka bombers. So they will go now because we alternate, and so they're going to attack the highest cover, which is the 5th Guards Armor Brigade. Now this can be a bit scary because they actually have a penetration of 5, so they could actually do a damage. But I do have a card to make do one of my things, so I can heal up, and we will get a regain in on the highway, so it's not too worrisome. But okay, they will make an attack on my 5th Guards. Okay, so I rolled a 5 and a 4. The 5, okay, causes a hit, and the 4 with the +5 penetration actually cause a damage. So they do get a hit on my armor, but then they just make 1 attack and they fly away. So, but that was the opponent's. Oh, I forgot, when my Dragoons moved in here, they should have actually put 2 pins on the engineers because of their scout ability when they move in. So now it'll be a lot easier to hit these engineers. So I think I'll actually activate my artillery then. They can stay there, they don't have to move. They'll spend a action and a supply to fire, and they'll attack the engineers. Okay, so they need a 7 to hit, and with their penetration of 2, they can easily overcome the cover of the engineers. And so with the 2 pins, they just need a 3 to hit. So, okay, here goes. Okay, a 10 and a 5. So direct hit causes a hit and a pin. The engineers only have 1 hit point, or manpower, as it would probably be termed. So they actually easily defeat the engineers, or get surprised, I imagine. They do get an experience for that. And with that, they can actually, well, okay, yeah, I do have, I'll save them. So I still can actually attack their artillery battalion, which would be good to try to weaken them. So I'll do another attack, spending a supply. And so we're going to attack the artillery battalion. Now that I don't get any benefits, so just a straight 7 I need. Okay, so fortunately I don't get the 7, but I easily defeat their cover, so I do cause a pin on theirs. Now, I do have an artillery attack card, which I think I'll expend. So it says, may perform an attack by spending 1 supply instead of an action. So okay, so I'll spend the supply. But now it's still on the card, it says I must spend a supply to an attack. So that's actually costs 2 supplies. But it'll give me an extra attack. So I can try to attack again. Now it is pinned, so I just need a 5 to hit. Okay, I roll a 2, so fortunately I miss again, but still it's enough to put a pin on it. So it's that. So I burned through a lot of my supplies, so I'll have to try to... Oh, and then I also fired into the village, so I reduced the infrastructure there. Oh, and then, okay. I always forget this, but at the top of the card, under the name, it has the supplies. When I activate it, I can get that number of supplies, but I was pretty much, I think, full when I activated it. It was the first card, so I wouldn't have spent anything, so I don't think I can actually utilize that now. Okay, so I guess I will move my armor brigade. I'll use the army move card on itself to move without spending an action. So since it has a movement of 3, you can easily move up to the highway. So now it's gonna... Okay, we're ignoring the infrastructure and the village. We're just going to try to keep attacking the poor artillery there. So it'll spend an action to attack. Oh, darn it. Mechanized armies often they must spend a supply to move. So I'll have to spend one of my supplies to do that, to move onto the highway. But now I can freely attack. So even though I'm suffering a hit, I'm still on my better attack profile. So I just need a 5 to hit. Now, I can fire at range 1, so it is 1 location away, but I suffer a penalty of -2, -1. That basically negates one of the pins, so I still get 1 pin bonus, so I just need a 3 to hit, and if I roll a 7, I'll actually get 2 hits. So, that would take it out directly, but I don't know if I'm that lucky, so we'll see. Nope. Okay, a 3 plus 1 pin is +2, so that equals a 5, so I do get a hit. And my penetration is 3, so it doesn't matter the cover. I easily defeat it. So that causes 1 hit onto the artillery. And it actually destroys the last infrastructure in the village. Okay, and I might as well just try to fire again, see if I can take it out. Again, it's the same modifiers. I need a 3 to do a hit. Okay, so barely. We're not that great at shooting, I guess, so, but we just good enough. We managed to hit a 3, and with the pin bonus, that equals my 5 to do a hit. So I've gotten a 2nd hit on the artillery, taking them out. So we don't have to worry about them. And that is worth 3 experience, actually. So give that to them. I can remove these. All right, so far going pretty good. We did a bit of damage to the village. The supply convoy is sitting there without much to do. What else could I do? Don't really need any of those. I don't have any actions. So, okay, that ends the activation of the 5th Guards, Armor Brigade. And so now I still have the 32nd Guards Infantry Brigade. So I'll have them move so they can do an action. They don't require a supply to move, and actually they gain a supply. Now I'm not sure if that's for any army, but I'll play it as it's just for this army. But okay, so they can move in, and since you can't, I guess I could technically activate the village, but that would bring in the hostiles, and so I'm not really ready for that. So I'll just have to waste their last action. And okay, so now, well, my armies are going, but my attachments still have activations to go. So there's nothing for my reaction force to do because I don't have any pins on my armor, but my engineering battalion can try to activate this engineer objective or obstacle. So I roll on their chart here. I'm hoping for a 4. Okay, so I only got 1 engineering point, but I need 2 to activate this thing. So they'll have to keep working on that. And that is it for the first turn. Quite eventful one. We got attacked by Stukas, but we managed to take out some engineers and artillery battalion. So, okay, we don't have any retained costs we can pay. There is no reinforcement, and the enemies don't have any supply to gain, and I don't have any supply trucks to use. So, it ends the turn, so we advance the counter. We start the next turn. Okay. So, I think that's it. There's this fellow. But he does not activate, and there's no other enemy forces for him to affect. So basically we're free to do whatever. So I think I'll activate my engineering battalion first. So again, I'll re-roll. Now all I need is 1 point of engineering, and as long as there's no modifiers, I get it automatically. So luckily I rolled a 1. Well, that's still enough to get me the 2. So I get regain 2. Now I think I can use it separately, so I'll just use 1. Now I'm not sure if you have to use it all at once or if you can parse it out to bits. So I'll remove the hit off of my tanks. Okay, and so that was 1 activation. Now I can do something else. Oh, I should refresh all my activation. Okay. Oh, whoops. So I think again I will use the Royal Dragoons to activate the village. So they have to spend an experience. So I'll spend 1 off the artillery and an action. So we can activate the village. That'll bring in the hostiles. So we need up to 5. Okay, so we got a small mechanized for 2. Bridge defenders for 1. So there's another little bridge leading into the village. Ooh, armor. Okay, that's too much. We just need a level 2. Infantry force. Low cover. Interesting. So attach onto the small mechanized. Oh, infantry regiment. Now we're just down to 1. Hopefully, okay, we might be going through the deck. This is just essentially the starter deck from this game. So, yeah, we're probably... Okay, infantry, alright. They're actually the lowest... Okay, I'll put the convoy supplies and the bridge defenders slightly behind. Okay, so the infantry force will attach onto the infantry because they're the lowest cover. The infantry bridge defenders, and then okay, so all of these are in the village. So The mechanized actually have the last, and so do the infantry. So they'll be going after all of ours. However, the bridge defenders are normal, so they will actually go after my dragoons. So I think I'll keep them out, because otherwise they're going to get attacked by the bridge defenders, which I don't want. So yeah, they do have 2 actions, so make a note of that. But they don't have any supplies, and they're not first or last. The supply convoy don't activate yet. The mechanized have 2 actions. And no, wow, wait, nobody has, okay, well, the infantry force has a supply. All right. Okay, so well, we don't really need to do the engineering obstacle on the bridge defenders, because we can easily, all of our movement easily can bypass that. Okay, so the Royal Dragoons can't really do anything. I don't want to move them in because otherwise they'll get shot. All right, so that was our normal phase activation. So now we have to do a hostile force normal phase activation, which would be the bridge defenders. However, they're stuck at range 0 and they are immobile, so they actually can't move out of the village. So they're defending the bridge. So they actually can't do anything this turn. So now it's back to us. So I might as well move in my artillery. Okay, or my armor. So they'll spend an action and they can easily get into the village there. So I'll use the card, the flank attack. So play if you or any army just moved and are about to perform an attack. So who do I want to attack? Honestly, the bridge defenders are kind of the biggest threat. They have the highest penetration. So I guess I'll attack them. So the flank will basically give me a +2/+1, same as a pin. So yeah, I don't have any other cards that can really help me. So I just have to roll. Okay, a 3 will give me a hit. A 7 will give me 2 hits. Now I have a penetration of 3 against a cover of 5. So normally I would need a 2 at least, but the flank attack gives me a +1. So even if I roll a 1, it'll be fine. Okay, I'm still rolling bad accuracy, but cover is fine. But I do still hit with the 3. So that does cause a hit. Now if I can cause another hit, I'll be able to reduce their attack. So oh, okay, yeah. So, but that was my 2 actions. I spent 1 action to move in, and another one to attack. So, all right. Now the other 2 hostiles go in the last phase. So I'm thinking I'll have 30-second guards move in. I do have a mechanized attack card with my artillery, but they need to move in to the village to be able to utilize that. So spend an action to move the 30-second guards, and then they can perform use an action to perform an attack, I guess, against the bridge defenders. Try to get that second hit. Or yeah, I don't necessarily want to attack the infantry just because they have this supply that they'll probably use and then get back next turn anyway. So okay, attack the bridge defenders. Oh yeah, we do get +1 to our attacks versus hostiles here. So they normally need a 6, so they just need a 5. Okay, so these guys are a lot better shots than my tankers. So they actually rolled a 6 and a 6 for cover. So they actually cause 1 hit. They do have 2 penetrations, so they actually are pretty effective against those bridge defenders. But then that's it for them. So I still have my artillery group, but I'm going to use the card, the mechanized attack. So I can attack with any mechanized, so it'd either be the dragoons or the 32nd guards. So I'll use that to attack with the 32nd guards. So again, they just need a 5, but they need a 3 for cover. Okay, wow, so yeah, 9 and 5 again. They cause a direct hit. So actually almost defeated the bridge defenders. Funny, 3 straight hits and no pins, but okay. So now the artillery group can spend an action to attack. They'll use the last of their supplies to do so, but they'll try attacking the bridge defenders, try to take them out. So they do have the +1 to hit thanks to the bridge defenders. So they just need a 6, but they do need a 3 to penetrate their cover. So 6 and 3. Oh, wow. Okay, so everybody's working fine except for the tankers. So 6 and 3 is exactly what I needed. I got 1 hit, 1 pin, but there's only 4 manpower on the bridge defenders. So able to successfully take them out. The artillery gets another experience. And that is it. So they do have 1 action, and I probably should get it to resupply, but I'm going to discard and draw. So I'm going to discard the infantry attack because that is kind of useless. I'm actually going to put it aside for the 32nd guards, just because I'm still not sure about this port, getting to it. So I'll put that aside, and I'll draw 3 more cards. Okay. All right. Ooh, 2 supply dumps, so can actually use this one now. So pay 2 experience to play this card. Distribute a total of 3 or 4 supplies to any armies in your location. So I'm thinking I'll actually, okay, I paid the 2 experience, and I'm actually going to upgun that with the 3rd one, so I get 4 supplies back. So okay, see, timing is everything. We just used the last of our supplies, but we managed to get into contact with a good supply dump. So we're able to load it back up. We're fresh for next turn. And we actually have a couple good cards, another supply dump, accurate fire. So that's good. Now, okay, I activated my engineering battalion. Could activate my reaction force, but I don't need to because there's no pins on my armor. So now we're going to the last phase. So that is when these guys will activate. Now, the infantry have only range 0. Okay, they can attack. So yeah, both of these guys can attack. He wants to go after low cover. Now, their only options are either the cover 8 tanks or the cover 5 mechanized infantry. So they'll have to go against the cover 5 mechanized infantry. Their infantry force just gives them an extra manpower and a defense ability. So nothing to help them hit. So they'll spend an action attacking the mechanized. Ooh, a 7 and 1. Okay, so the 7 is a hit, but they do not penetrate. So that is actually just a pin. Okay, but then they have their second action. So now, with the pin on my mechanized infantry, be a little bit easier for them to damage it. Okay, but no, they're worse. So yeah, they only rolled a 4 and a 1. So the 1 does not defeat cover, and the 4 is actually a miss. So they would remove their own pin if they had any, but they don't do any damage. So okay, my guards got off pretty lightly then. And so now the small mechanized, they want to attack an infantry force, but there are none. So they will attack the people in the location. Now, I believe if cases of a tie, you go to the highest resource point. And so there is no infantry, so they just attack whatever is in the location first. So their options are the 32nd Guards or the 5th Guards armor. And so the highest resource point is the 5th Guards armor, so they'll attack that. So, and though they don't have any hope of penetrating, they only have a penetration of 1, but they can start stacking up the pins, and that's what kind of the dangerous part. So we start shooting at the tanks. 2 and 2. So okay, a 2. They're still healthy, so that's a miss, -1 pin, and they actually. So yeah, by missing, they don't add any pins onto my tanks. So the second action, they're going to try again. Okay, now got a bit more nerve. Okay, and it's lucky because they did roll a 6 on their cover dice, but with the +1 pin, it does not beat or equal my 8 for my armor on my tanks. So lesser tanks might have been damaged by this, but not my heavy guards tanks. So, but they did hit, so that does cause a pin. But that is all of their actions for this turn. The convoy is still in this group, so they will actually make these guys go fast next turn. So that's actually a bit of a danger. Okay, so at the end of the turn, there are no retained costs that we can pay, no reinforcement. Oh, okay, no supplies. I'm gonna have to try to remember to add supplies from the passable river. But okay, supplies. They would get supplies, but they're already full, and we don't gain any supplies during this phase. So advanced turn counter. So we're second turn. Now the supply convoy helps out. Place. Okay. At the start of each turn, the 2 highest RP non-first hostiles with attack charts gain first for the turn. So these last actually flip over and become first. Okay, so we'll flip all of our action counters over. All right, so they actually get to go first. So we'll start with the infantry. Again, they want to attack the lowest cover, so that's the 32nd Guards. They have a pin on it, so they will try to make the attack. They need a 6 to hit. A 2 and a 2, unfortunately, misses and does not defeat the cover. So this is actually nice when you have high cover armies. They can actually withstand some attacks. Just lucky we haven't come across any tanks. Okay, so they do actually hit, but they don't defeat the cover even with the other pin. So now there's a second pin on them, but that was both of their attacks. Now the small mechanized, we've determined that they want to attack my guards, which have a pin on them now. So now they can actually, if they roll a 6 to defeat cover, they will actually cause a damage. All right, so they need a 5 or more to hit. So, well, actually a 3. Ooh, okay, so they definitely hit, but luckily the 1 does not defeat the armor. So again, it's another pin. Just fire in their autocannons and heavy rifles as fast as they can. Okay, so now they'll definitely hit, and they just need a 5 to defeat the cover. So they're getting better. Okay, so again, they hit, but thankfully they didn't roll well enough to defeat the cover. But there's yet another pin on my tanks. Well, that was all of their actions for this turn, so now we can act freely, really. So I might as well do my reaction force. So now this is where they come in handy. Once each turn, discard a total of 2 pins from any armor armies. So that'll help out there. Moving those. And actually, I will activate my Royal Dragoons. And they will spend an action to move. Okay, so they'll move into the village. Now, they can use their scout ability. Now, here's the question, can I split it up? So actually, I'm not going to. I'm going to try to leave that. I want to put 2 pins on the infantry. I think especially with this extra supply, I really need to hammer them a lot this turn. So, okay, that was their scout ability. They do have an action still that they can attack. They need to hit a 10, but if they attack the infantry, they get a +4. So let's see. They need a 6 now. Whoops. Oh, a 7 and a 6 for cover. So they definitely hit and definitely penetrate. Now the infantry force will spend their supplies to try to use their defense ability. Now it's a 5+, so probably work. Okay, yes, 5. So they were able to block the attack, but at least I've been able to strip it away from them now. Right, so I'll move to the 32nd Guard. They've been getting attacked by this infantry, so they're going to counterattack. Try to attack them back. They only need a 6, and with their penetration of 2, they'll easily defeat the cover. However, they just need weight of fire, really. So with the +2 or +4 to hit, they just need a 2. Okay, 4 and a 6, so that definitely hits with the bonus. And since they've used up their supplies, they actually suffer a hit. And then so if we attack again with our second action, and we hit again and defeat their cover. So we actually put another hit. So this would normally kill them, but the infantry force gives them an extra manpower. So I'll just put that there. I guess I'll use my artillery to try to finish off the infantry. Can use an attack. Spending a supply. Thankfully we got that supply drop. Now, with the 2 pins, I just need to roll a 3, and the penetration on my artillery easily defeats their cover. So, okay, so again, all of my other non-tank armies are proving their worth, so this easily hits them, causing the last wound. So this actually takes out all of them. So they'll get 1 experience for the infantry force and 1 experience for the little infantry group. And that takes them out. Now, I do have an action still left, but I think I'll use that action to move into the highway because I'm quickly getting to the river and they're getting left behind. So I'll spend an action to move, but I also have to spend a supply to move because this is essentially motorized. So, but with their movement of 3, they don't need any help getting along to the highway. So I still have convoy is sitting there. So all right, I still have my tanks. And I think I'll actually try to shoot out this convoy because if we can at least do that, the next turn these guys will revert back to last. So do an attack action. Have any cards? No. Okay, so they need to roll a 5 to hit, and with my penetration it easily blows away those little trucks and stuff. So just need to get 1 hit on them. All right, 5 and 5. So again, I just barely hit. I haven't gotten any super double hits yet, but still, that's all I needed. Just had 1 wound. That'll give me another experience. Taking out the supply convoy. And I think I will actually, this action to just get rid of this pin. So then next turn we'll be ready to focus on taking these guys out. We might even be able to, get across the river or whatever. So yeah, I've activated my reaction force at the beginning of the turn, or at least my turn. But I can still activate my engineering battalion. Again, it's a separate activation from the tanks. But I need to start rolling to against the river, which needs 4. So if I can get enough, I can get up to 3 with these guys. 5. Oh darn it, which is just 1. So still be taking a while, I guess. Okay, and I think that is everybody's activation. So, pay retain costs, no reinforcements, no supply, and so then that's turn. Around turn 8, I think we've been making pretty good progress. We've almost cleared out half of the board, I would say. Just have the village and the port. The port might be the toughest one though, although it's actually less hostiles. It's this reinforcement that might be tricky. Okay, so we again kind of reset everything, but now without the supply convoy, these guys go back to last. So we'll actually be able to activate before them. Okay, so wouldn't mind putting some pins on them, so I think I'll just have the dragoons go first. Okay, so they'll just take a shot. Oh, they need a 10 though, and a 4. So this might have been a bad choice. Actually, yeah, I'm going to take that back. I'm not going to activate them, just because it's rather unlikely. I think I only have maybe a 25% chance of actually putting a pin on these guys with the dragoons. So unless I use my scout ability, that'll be tough. So I'm going to activate the 32nd Guards, because they have a much better chance of actually damaging the mechanized force here. So they only need a 6, and with their penetration of 2, they only need a 2 to actually penetrate. So, okay, so they only rolled a 5, so they missed, but the 4 defeats their cover, which will add a pin. So that'll be nice. And then again, I'll just do that. To fire again. Okay, so now I hit, but my cover dice is too low. I only rolled a 1, so even with the penetration and the pin... Oh, actually, wait. I have penetration of 2, and with the pin adding another +1, this will actually become a 4, which does equal their cover. So this actually managed to do a hit on them. So, all right. Good job from them. So I think now I'll activate my tanks to try to finish them off. So, fire. Okay, with the pin, I just need a 3. And with the penetration of my tanks, it automatically defeats their cover. So yay, there we go, perfect hits. Direct shots. This even does the 2 hits I've been craving. So it actually obliterates the small mechanized, giving them 2 more experience. Wow, they're actually doing pretty good. Okay. Now, they still have an action, so I'm actually going to use that action to get supplies. I need that to move. So I'll actually activate my engineering battalion, see if I can get more work done on this impassable river, because it's starting to slow us down. We could try to activate it and fight the whatever hostiles show up. We rolled another 4, so that's only another 1 point of... So I'm kind of tempted. I can't move into this location, but I can activate it by being 1 away. So I'm kind of tempted activating it and then using artillery to try to get some hits in, just so we don't waste time. There's still a 50% chance that I'll only get one more engineering next turn, so I'll still not be able to enter it. And so I think just waiting until I can actually enter is going to cost too much time, I think. So I'm going to use my Dragoons to activate it. So we actually get the one supply. I'm going to try to remember that this turn. I'll give it to my artillery group. But now we have to see what hostiles show up. Now we've almost gone through the deck, so we'll have to reshuffle. And we check up to 6. So what do we have here? Field gun, place 1 beyond frontmost. Okay, so it's kind of on the opposite side of the river. Ooh, raiding mechanized. Okay, so this is 3 points total so far. Place 1 behind rearmost. So they're actually harassing my artillery. But I've gone through the hostile deck. Okay, so we had 3. So we need 3 more points to fill in. Okay, there's 3. Light armor. All right, so you can set these up. Now, the light armor is first. Okay, so that's a little bit of a benefit because we've already bypassed their phase of the turn. Same with the artillery. Mechanized is normal, so they're actually going to go after my Dragoons here. And, okay, the artillery just has 1 action. Same with the light armor. Okay, that's not too bad. And with the raiding mechanized. Okay, so kind of got off a bit lucky there. Yeah, they're definitely going to go after my artillery. So luckily I saved them. They can try to harass them or fire back at them. So what can these guys do? They can't do anything here. They've activated the river. But they can try to move back and protect the artillery, hopefully. Although I'm not sure if they can do much. But okay, well, they'll withdraw there. And okay, so I still have... Oh no, these guys will go. So yeah, they can only attack range 0. So they have to move. So they'll spend their action to move into the highway. So now they're threatening the artillery. And unfortunately, the artillery cannot shoot him. So I have to decide whether to move the artillery into the village. Probably be the better play. So the artillery is going to move, spend an action and a supply to move. It can easily move into the village because it has a movement of 3. And then now can spend an action to fire at the raiding mechanized. So, oh, okay, shoot. When it activates, oh, it does have 2 supplies. So yeah, it is a defense supplies. Okay, but when it activates, it'll remove one of my supplies. So I'm actually going to remove it from my mechanized. They kind of need it the least, I guess. All right, so sorry for that mix-up. I should have put the supplies there and activated that ability when he moved. So now we're back. I'm firing my artillery at the raiding mechanized. Going to use the accurate fire skill on him. So he gets +1, +0. I might as well upgun that. Now it'll just give me a +1 to against the cover, but it is cover 5, so I probably need it. So with the bonus, I need a 5 to hit, and with +3, I need a 2 on the cover dice. So hopefully, I can do this. Okay, yes, a 6 on the firing dice hits, and 5 defeats their cover. Now they do have a defense ability, so they'll spend one of their supplies to try that. It's 7 or above, so okay. Yes, now they can't block both of the effects. My artillery causes 1 hit and 1 pin, so I'll just put these out. 1 hit, 1 pin. Now they can't block both. But if they are successful, they'll block the hit before the pin. So, okay, so need a 7. They roll a 7. course. So that actually blocks the pin, or the hit, sorry. But the pin still goes on. So I think, I'm pretty sure they can't do that again to block the pin. Although. Okay, so that is actually it for the turn, because we've activated everybody. And these guys kind of skipped their turn because they were going first. But now we might pay the cost of that. All right, so pay retain costs. There's no retain cost for us. Reinforcement, nope. Supply. So these guys actually get their supply back. These other armies don't have it. Now this is going to be the problem, because we have to whittle through their defense. But they're going to keep getting their 2 supply back each turn. So might have to focus on getting those guys before we can handle these guys. But then you advance the turn counter. We're down to 7. Now it's starting to feel a bit more touch and go, because we still haven't crossed the river here. And we're facing some determined opposition. So we'll go through the first phase. So we might as well do the field gun first. Okay, so he can only shoot range 1, so he can only shoot 1, 2, and 4, not the dragoons. But they want to go after the fewest pins, because they want to put pins on our forces. So they're not going to be shooting at the 32nd Guards. So it'll be either the 5th Guards or the Royal Dragoons, and so since it's a tie, the tiebreaker is the highest RP, so they'll fire at the 5th Guard's armor. Okay, so what do they want? They have a penetration of 2. So if they roll a 6, they can actually penetrate my armor. And they need an 8 to hit. So, okay. Let's see if they can do this. A 1 and a 3. So unfortunately, a 1 really misses. The 3 does not defeat the cover, so no worries there. And that was their 1 attack. Now, the light armor, okay, they only range 0. So they're actually going to move because they can't attack anybody here. So that spends their 1 action. Okay, so now we're in the first. Oh, shoot. So, gotta flip all of our actions. Well, okay, no, we got through the first phase, so now we're in the normal step of the turn. And so while this guy will go, we get to go first. One of our activations happens before theirs. So I can either activate the tanks, try to shoot them, or my artillery, try to shoot them. But honestly, if I want to save my dragoons, I think the best bet would be to actually move my tank into here, because they want to shoot the most supplies, which would be my tank. So I'm actually going to activate the 5th Guards, and I'm going to move them, so I have to spend a supply to move. This is my first army, so they'll move in there. So they're covering the Royal Dragoons, and now they will shoot. Doesn't cost the supply to... no, it's kind of pointless. The support attack sounds good, but since I only have 2 support armies, I don't think it's really worth it. So yeah, I'm gonna try to... Those aren't really helping at all. But okay, so I'm going to attack the raiding mechanized here. Now my penetration of 3, so I just need to roll a 2 to defeat their cover, and I need to roll a 5, but with the pin, so actually I just need to roll a 1 to defeat the cover and a 3 to hit them. If I can actually roll a 7, I will do 2 hits, which I'm really hoping for. I wish I had a good card to play with them. Okay, all right. So I did roll a 7. Normally it wouldn't be anything spectacular, but with the pin, becomes a 9, which is my double hit rating on my tanks, and the 3 easily defeats their cover. So now this would cause 2 hits. So now it can spend a supply to try to negate one of those hits. Now I'm pretty sure it's just one, and they can't use, I think this is just like once per attack. So at least that's how I'm playing it, I guess. Oh, and they don't even. They rolled a 2, so they don't negate. And so these hits go right through and blow up the raiding mechanized, which looks like they're armored cars, Pumas or something. So, all right, that was good maneuver by the tanks. Came wheeling back. Got another 2 experience. Wow. If we could add any good card for retaining, we have lots of experience here. But that was pretty cool. All right, but now that actually stops them from activating. And so it's the rest of our guys. So okay, I'll activate my artillery. They will attack, spending a supply. Now they cannot attack this light armor because they moved into near the village. They're within minimum range essentially. So I'll have to attack the field gun. Still a decent target. So I need a 7 to hit. And yeah, they easily defeat their cover. So a 9. Okay, so wow. The guys are really firing on all cylinders now. So the 7 definitely hits, and with the 6 it direct hit, so that causes a hit. And they don't have any defense abilities, and they only have 1 essentially hit point, so that destroys them. That's another experience for my artillery. So they can use their action to resupply. So now I just have my dragoons and the guards. So I'll actually activate the dragoons. Oh, now I can't use my... Since I moved the tank back, engineer cannot work on the river. That was a bit of a... I should have activated the engine. Well, I needed to activate the tanks first to get rid of the raiding mechanism. So, oh well. Choices. Use them to move. They can easily move into the village because they have a movement of 4. And with their scout ability, they can put 2 pins on the light armor. So now they can actually attack. Don't have any penetration, but with the 2 pins, they only need a 3. But they need to roll a 6 to hit them. Okay, so unfortunately, I rolled a 3 and a 2. Neither of them actually succeed, so they actually don't cause anything. But just the scout ability, putting the pins on them is pretty good. So that's their activation. So now it's down to the 30-second guards. So they will attack. Now they just need a 6 to hit, but with 2 pins, they only need to roll a 2. Penetration of 2, and then with 2 pins, get a +4, so they only need to roll a 1. So just need to roll a 2 to hit. Oh, lucky enough. Okay. So, but even still, the 2 causes a hit. And then they can try to finish them off. Again, they need a 2 to hit. Okay, so this is a little bit better. But yep, so with the pins, they actually successfully hit, and they cause another damage, which is enough to take them out. So that is actually worth 3 experience. So all of my guys are getting pretty experienced in this mission here. But now we're still stuck at the river. Okay, all of us are activated. We got rid of all of the hostiles. So now we pay retain costs. We don't have any, unfortunately. Nothing to reinforcement, nothing for supply. So now we advance the turn counter. We're down to 6, but we're on the edge of the near the getting to the port. So I'll activate my, well, okay, flip over all of the actions now. So I'll activate my 5th guards. So they will do an action to move. Now they do have to spend a supply to move, but they'll go back here. And then they'll spend another action to draw and discard. So both of these are kind of pointless. I'll draw back up to 4. Okay. Another infantry attack, but oh, I guess I could have put. Oh well. Okay, I got some useful stuff there. But now, as a separate activation, I can activate my engineers. Now, hopefully they'll roll a 6 and we can get another 2 points on this impossible river, or impassable river. A 4. So, fortunately, we have to spend another turn working on this. Okay, so much to do. We're all stuck here. Activate my artillery. He will actually resupply. And then he will do, actually, before I discard it, I can pay 2 experience to play this card. Another supply dump. Now I can add a total of 3. I won't bother upgunning it, although I could. Yeah, I might as well. Pay an experience. We have a bunch now. To upgun it to 4. Distribute a total of 4 supplies to any armies in your location. So I can actually put 2 more. So he's maxed out at 5. And then I can put 2 more. He's maxed out at 3. So okay, so that was that. I still want to keep this making do, but I'll do a draw and discard, or discard and draw. So I'll keep the making do. And then discard back up to 4. Okay, some decent cards there. And now the Royal Dragoons can't really do anything, and the 32nd Guards will just get rid of their pins, I guess, using their actions. So it's the end of the turn. No retain, no reinforcement, no supply. Advanced turn counter. Now we're down to 5. But okay, I can activate the engineering battalion first. They do another roll. Now, as I said, even a 1 will get me 1 point. So now I roll a 7, which is more than enough. So we've built the bridge to cross the river. It took us 4 turns to do it, but okay, finally. So now, okay, we can keep the artillery here. Oh, I have to flip all of our actions here. Okay, so I'll spend an action to move my tank army across the river. Okay, it's just cost of 3, but that's all of my guys have at least a movement of 3. That costs a supply. So now I might as well activate the port. Spending an action. Okay, so now we draw our objective hostiles here at 5, so let's see what shows up. Okay, small mechanized. Now we're down to 3. Oh, dodged the artillery. Another supply convoy. So now just another 2. So we haven't really faced, oh, okay. Okay, infantry regiment. All right, so we haven't really faced any scary tanks and stuff. Kind of got lucky a little bit. So infantry is last, so it'll go after all of our own. And same with the mechanized. Have we faced? I think we faced. Well, maybe not the mechanized. Or no, maybe that was the. Maybe they were on the highway. The infantry have supplies. Of course, they have their defensibility, which is going to be annoying. 2 actions for them. Two actions for the small mechanized. Okay, and the convoy will stay there. So next turn, this convoy will actually give them boosts. But I have my artillery. I can try to take out the convoy. Okay, I used up my actions for the army, the tank army. So I think I can't move fully into the port because I'm starting from the village. So I guess I'll try using the artillery to attack the convoy. Try to take them out, keep these guys going slow. Alright, so they need a 7 to hit. And they don't have any cover, so just need a 7. Oh. Okay. 8 and a 5. I actually forgot to spend a supply to attack, so I'll do that. But the 8 hits, the 5 doesn't really matter because they have no cover, but the 8 takes out the supply convoy. Hooray. Giving the artillery another... So they could actually fire again. I don't think it's worthwhile shooting the infantry because they'll just use the supply to boost their defense. So I will, again, I'll fire at the mechanized, try to get a pin on them. So again, I need a 7 to hit and a 2 to penetrate their cover. Oh, 10 and 10, or 10 and 6. So perfect hit. They don't have any defense abilities, so they get a hit and a pin. If I had one more long-range thing, could have actually probably taken them out. But okay, so that was it for my artillery. Did quite a good job. They actually lose one of their actions. They're down to just 1. But they might regain it, depending on what they do. That was them. I'll move the dragoons across the river. They can't do anything, but they can spend an action to regain supplies. Okay, and so now it's just the 32nd Guards, and they will move up. They're actually full on supplies, so they don't need it. Okay, so that was all of our normal movements. So have them move. Okay, the mechanized can actually shoot from here because they can shoot up to range 1, but the infantry want to move. So they're going to move out of the port, spending an action, and then they want to shoot mechanized. So it's either the Royal Dragoons or the 32nd Guards. Thankfully, breaking the tie, the 32nd Guards have a higher RP, so that's who they're going to shoot at. Okay, oh, and then they actually want to spend a supply to get an additional attack dice. So, all right. I'm pretty confident in my armor, but with this extra attack, they might be able to put on some extra pins. So, all right, they need a 6 and a 5. Okay, an 8 and a 1. It doesn't really matter if I roll the second attack die, a 10, even better. But it doesn't change. They did manage to hit, but the cover didn't defeat the cover of the Grenadier Guards, so it becomes a pin. All right, and so, okay, these guys, they want to attack infantry, but there is no infantry, so they'll attack the highest RP, which is my tanks. So try that. They won't be able to defeat the cover, but they need a 5 to hit, or actually a 7 to hit. If they roll a 5 or less, they'll actually, they can't retreat, but they will regain 1. So they'll heal up. Okay, so a 7. They actually did pretty good. They did get a hit, and they almost defeated my cover. If they had an extra penetration, they would have. But so, luckily, they just managed to get a pin. Still, that can be pretty scary. So that is it. So now, pay retain costs. There's nothing to retain. Now, reinforcements. I believe once this is activated, this location will try to spawn reinforcements each turn. So we're looking for either 2 cost or 4 cost. So this is a 1. Okay, so now I believe you just check for that once. So now supply, these guys will get their supply back. Unfortunately, we don't. So then we're down to 4th turn. Okay, oh, I keep forgetting these. I should. These guys are the objective hostiles. So these are the ones we have to kill. If there were any reinforcements, they would not get the objective hostiles. So as long as we kill these guys, which hopefully we can do this turn. Okay, so advanced turn count. We did to 4, so we're on a new turn. Okay, so all of our actions refresh. Same with these guys. He did not heal. All right, now since we got rid of the convoy, the supplies, they're still going last. So all of our armies will activate. So I'm going to activate the dragoons. And it says, once per turn, pay 1 supply to subtract 2 from a location's entrance cost within range 2 for the remainder of the turn. So, you can spend a supply to reduce the port from 5 to 3. And so now all of us can easily drive in there. Yes. Because I want to... scout this guy, so put 2 pins on him. And then he can actually do an attack, try to finish him off. So he'll do an attack. He has 3 pins, so gets +6 +3, so he'll automatically defeat the cover, and he just needs to roll a 4 to hit, and he'll actually take him out. Oh, a 7, I believe. Yep, that's a 7 and a 3. So he actually successfully caused the damage to the small mechanized. And he only has 2 hit points or manpower. So that finishes him off. So actually good going, Royal Dragoons. I actually get 2 experience. Wow, so all of my guys are really experienced after this. Okay, so if we can finish this guy off, which shouldn't be much of an issue, we just have to whittle through all of these supplies he has, then we can successfully get our mission. Okay, so I will activate the 30-second guards, and he's happy where he is, so he'll shoot at the infantry regiment here. So I wonder if I should have done the artillery, because he can actually get 2 different damage effects on it, so, but oh well. He needs a 6 to hit. Alright, so. Okay, so he missed, but with his penetration, and he rolled a 2, which equals his the cover of the infantry regiment. He tries to try to put a pin on it, but the hostiles will always use their abilities if they can, no matter if it's necessarily better or not. So yeah, they're going to try to negate that pin by rolling defense, and yes, they do. They have a defense of 4. Okay, so I have to make another attack. Try to hit them again. Okay, so yeah, no, unfortunately, they missed again. These guys are dug in pretty well. But they do defeat the cover, so they'll spend their supplies to try to negate that pin. Okay, and they do. Yeah, alright, so no effect from the mechanized infantry attacking these guys, but we whittled them down, so hopefully now that we can use our artillery, we can damage them. Okay, so there's still no pins, unfortunately, so they need a 7 to hit, but they will automatically defeat their cover. Okay, well, yeah. Excellent shooting again. 9 is pretty much a direct hit. We've used up their ability for defense, so this will do a hit and a pin. Oh, and I had to use a supply to attack. So can attack again, spending another supply and another action. Now I just need a 5 to hit. Oops. Didn't count. Ooh, another 9. It was going to be a 1, but okay. So again, it's another successful hit. These guys are getting pummeled now. They got lit up. They do have 3 health, so they're not quite out of it yet. But that's all my artillery can do. But I have my hero tanks, so they will spend an action to shoot. They'll actually use deadly fire, and I might as well upgun it. So I get +4/+1, so I'll automatically hit and automatically defeat their cover. All right. Oh, and I had to spend an experience just to spend it. See, good thing I did, because I only rolled a 2. But still, with +4, +8, I guess. Okay, yeah, I went a bit overkill, but still, it's pretty much the end of the game. So yeah, definitely hit those guys. So we killed off the last defenders in the port. Actually, I think we got pretty lucky that we managed to bypass the heavy armor and stuff. Still, there was a couple close calls. The raiders coming out from behind, it was a bit scary, but I think this is a good demonstration of, you know, how strong tanks can be. Again, it's the pins that can really be dangerous to them, especially if they take a lot of shots. But that's why I was really eager to try to get this reaction force attached to it. There could be other things, like you could use scouts to remove it. There might be other abilities or skills. But yeah, I was really happy to be able to use the 5th Guards. I'll even spend their movement action to move into the port. So there we go. And again, the artillery were solid. It is nice having the mechanized infantry, although they didn't do too much. But just a lot of my games have been with low movement armies, so it is nice to play with a mechanized army and just zip through all of the locations. This river slowed us down for a while, but no, I think this went pretty well. And hope everybody enjoyed it as much as I did. I'm still looking forward to playing more matches. So I'd like to say thank you and goodbye.